All right, so this is SQL group by statement. All right, you'll be saying like for everything I'm saying is very important, but yeah, we use this all the time. So this group by is also very important. So the group by statements group rows that have the same value in the summary rows, like find the number of customer in each country. So we use the group by statement. We group by those statements using this group by statement. The group by statement is often used with the aggregate function. So the function we learned previously, min, max, sum, average, count, right? Those all are called aggregate function. Aggregate means like we use it for the counting purpose, right? So to group the result set by one or more column, we use a group by. And how we do it, we're gonna learn it. But I think if we take a namaz break, right, and just come back at 8:40, so we'll have little fresh mind, right? And inshallah that we try to understand this group by.
Okay.
Thank you. Different columns, right? Over here, what I did select, earlier I was showing you example of just one aggregate function, right? Every time, as per like over here, they're showing just one, right? Every time they just use. But over here, he asked, can we use like a multiple? So yes, we can use. If you see here, I'm selecting a minimum price, comma, I'm selecting a maximum price, and I'm doing a count all. Count all is doing like count me all number of rows. So if you run it, you see it's saying minimum price is 2.5, maximum price is 263.5, and the count for the number of rows is 77. You can double check from here as well, right? The product table has how many records? 77. So that proves, right? And also if you go over here, there are different way to prove this, right? So if you just do a price, right? And you do order by price. So it will give you the lowest price at the top. So you see 2.5. Now you want to verify the high, max one, right? From your formula is 263.5, right? And this is what you have it earlier, right? When we run this one, 2.5 to 63.5. So hence proof, right? That min max, that's how it works. So this came in my mind and just wanted to show you guys can, rather than using just one aggregate function, we can even use multiple aggregate functions as well.
Can you use a multiple, let's say if I wanted to count how many minimum and how many max, is it possible?
What minimum and maximum?
Like how many records are at the minimum price and how many are at the max? There could be more than one at 2.5. There could be more than one at 263.5.
Yeah, so then you can, when once you find it, right, you can have a next script where you can say what. So see, the SQL is just not one script. When we run procedures, right, it's a combination of multiple script, right?
Okay.
Sorry to hold you guys. Just Kamran put a message. If you want to record, please let me know. I have to give permission. Then you can record on your computer. So just message whoever want, and he can give permission. Maybe you can give permission to all, and they can record on their computer. So
that I need to learn. I don't know how to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe you know how to do it for a single person, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. So whoever can ask on a chat, and he can give them permission, and there might be a recording option. You guys can record on your computer.
I'm not recording these. 2 person are recording.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for sharing. All right. So what you were asking, let's say if it is more than 2.5, right? So what we did when we run the first script, we get the minimum price, right? And then the second script, we can say, I'll show you later on how you can put this value into a variable. What is variable? I don't want to go into this thing right now. But then you have that variable, right? And then you can just select all from products, right? And then you say where price is equals to, and you're gonna put that variable name over here, right? So in the second statement, it will bring the number of results with that minimum price. Hopefully you're getting my point, right? So when you run a procedure, it's just not one script, you write multiple script. And what you're trying to see how many minimum price records you have, right? So
Right.
with the first script, you will get the minimum price, right? And this value will go into one variable. What is variable? Forget about it. And then with the second select statement, you will be fetching this data into product table, and you'll see where price is equals to whatever variable that hold the minimum price value. So the second script will bring you those results. So is this something you're asking, Shilai?
Yes, kind of. Because I was just thinking about different kind of data where it could be multiple entries of, but like I said, 2.5, it is possible there are 10 records at 2.5.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, right? When your first script run, it fetch you minimum price 2.5, right? But then you run the select statement, right? Over here, if you see, if it is running like this, right? Right. So that means it is fetching the second record, right? And in the procedure, you will be running multiple statements. So if it is statement like this, you see that just pull up one, but somehow you're saying there might be 5 records, right? So when you're running, your second select statement will fetch the 5 records. And if that you wanted to display, you can hold on to the second select statement and display those 5 results. So yes, you can do it.
And it will show the results in this same table together, or it will be separate results?
Yeah, it depends what column you want to display and from what table you want to display. It's always depend how you're writing your code.
Okay.
Right. So this is something I just want to show you guys that yes, we can pull up use multiple aggregate function under one. Because earlier I think I just following this and I gave a result just for one aggregate function. So now let's jump on to the group by. What is group by? Okay. So the group by statement, group rows have the same values into the similar rows, like find number of customer in each country. The group by statement often used with the aggregate function, all of these, right, to group the results set by one or more column. I'll explain, I think then you guys will have a better understanding rather than this one, right? So the following SQL statement lists the number of customer in each country. Now, let me tell you one thing, and which I learned pretty hard way. So when you do this, right, when you like you're doing a count on the customer ID, right, you're doing a count on the customer ID from customers table. I think it has 92 record. Normally it's gonna bring the 92 record. So that will work. But sometimes you have to group by based on the columns. What does it mean? It's like you have to, other than aggregate function, you might have to put another column here, right? And if you try to run this one, this will fail. It's working here, but in Oracle, it won't work. It won't work until you put a group by here. Until you put a group by here, it will not work. This will fail right away. Because always you have to use, when you use an aggregate function, and also you use like a standalone column like this one, right? This is a column you're using, but you're using an aggregate function with it. So that's fine. But if you using another column, right, but there is no aggregate function on it, that has to go under a group by. Otherwise, it will never work. So over here, what you're trying to see, do a count, right? Do a count basically on the customer ID, and you grouping it by a country, right? So it over here, it come as a, right? You can do this, right, to understand it basically. So it's null is saying country has one, you see, is saying basically the Argentina has 3 record, Austria has 2 record, Brazil has 9 record, France has 11 record, Germany has 11 record, right? So that's how the USA have 13 record. So this is basically what you're doing as a group by. You grouping those basically a column into a value. This is little tough, I know, and this will come with a lot of practice. It took me time to understand even what group by do exactly, but I'll try to explain. So if you run this script, like let's run a simple statement rather than this one. Select all from, I think we're using the customers table, right? So what I'm trying to say is basically you see that this Germany, Mexico, they are repeated values, right? Now you're trying to see how many times Germany coming in this table, Mexico coming in this table, UK coming in this table. There are so many times we have a requirement to know, okay, this is a huge table, but we want to know like this name coming how many times, this address coming how many times, this city coming up how many times, right? So how we do it, like we have to use a group by function. And how are we going to do it? Rather than a customer ID, we say count on this, like we can do customer ID rather than we say here as a city, right? And then city, and then we have to group by as a city as well over here. So this need to match with this one. And this is again a standalone column. What does it mean? It's not, we're not using this. We can ignore this column. We don't need to put this in the group by because it's going with the aggregate function. But the city is like a standalone column, right? So it has to go with a group by. And this is what we're trying to do. Select count all customer ID, like how many customer IDs we have for the cities from the customer table, group by city. So what we do here is saying, see, it's saying only this one, Buenos Aires is saying it's repeated. It has 3 customer IDs, right? Most of them coming as single, but you see here London coming 6 times, Madrid coming 3 times, and it went like this. So if we change this to a country, like we had in the previous example on the group by, so now it's grouping based on the country. Previously it grouped based on the city. Now it's doing grouping based on the country. So you see here, so there is a null country we added as well. Like there is a country null. So I think it's 1 time. That's why it says Argentina 3 times, Australia 2 times, Brazil 9 times. And how we can confirm if this is a true statement or not. So that's pretty simple, right? We can do select all from customers where country is equals to, and we can just take this one right over here and we run it. So over here the data is saying Brazil is 9 times. We do cross checking what it's answering. We do it all the time. Before sending data, we cross check all the time, right? So it should be customers, I think. That's why it is. So you see 9 records, right? So it's 9 times. So that means whatever our group by script is doing, it's working fine over here, right? We did it with the city London, right? And we find out that it's, I think shows London, I don't know, 6 times and how many times. So how we can confirm it? We can do here city, and we can do here London, right? And then if we run it, see it's 6 times. So I'm just showing how can you cross check is like the result set coming up is coming correctly or not. So but it is important whenever you have like a standalone column like this, you have to use that column basically in the group by column, and it's always depend on the requirement, right? So when there is a requirement, you write those script. You can use a count here, you can use an average here, you can use whatever you want, right? It depends on, again, on the situation, whatever you want to use it. I don't know, it depends. So over here, the count make more sense, right? Because you want to know how many times, right, the country repeated, right? So if you do min max, doesn't make any sense, right? But if you do like a count, right? Count the number of customer ID for belongs to that country. So that make more sense. That's why you're using a count here. Even I think, yeah. I think even if you put account all, I think the result should be the same, right? Because you're doing a count on the, but it's good to especially mention the column name. So the result is same. That's group by. I think we should do having tomorrow because these two are pretty tough topics to understand and digest, I guess. Let's see if they have more examples here. Over here, they're doing like multiple columns, right? And that's what we do. We learn the joins already, right? And that's how generally we write the steps, right? It's just not one table and not one aggregate function. We're doing grouping, we're doing left join, we're using multiples in one SQL statement like this one. If you read it, try to read it, and then it start making more sense what we're doing, right? So it's saying select shipper name, and you're doing a count on order ID. Basically, order is the column area over here. You see this order you can do as OR, and then you can change ORD, right? You can use this ORD here, you can use this ORD here, right? And then order ID. And this is the table area, column area as numbers, right? From order table. And then it do a left outer join on the shippers. And then now these tables are joined. Left join means get all data from this table and only the join data, right? Which is a matching data from this table, and say on, it says order dot shipper ID is equals to shipper dot shipper ID. You can do SHP on this one, right? SHP on this one. Shipper name. Right, so that's how it works. And when you run the script, it bring you the results. It bring 3 shipping names: Federal Shipping, Speedy Express, and United Express. And this is your number of orders with the help of order ID. Like they have 68 order, they have 58 order, they have 74 order. So just try to understand basically what group by do. I think it will come in your understanding a little bit with more practice, and hopefully if you ever find inshallah an opportunity or something when you start working on the actual environment, you'll get to know. But even if you understand like why we use group by, right, then I think that will be important. So we can say the reason we use group by, so whenever we use aggregate functions, right, these count, min, max, these are called aggregate function. And if we have another column, we have to put that in the group by, right? And if we want a result based on the grouping, right, so we have to use a group by statement. So you see it's grouping up all the results. If you understand with the concept, it's grouping up. The Federal Shipping have 68 records, so it's grouping all of it into one and giving you one number. Speedy Express has 54 record, right? If you don't do a group by, it's basically 54 times repeating, but you grouping them all under one result, and that brings 54 results. Same goes to the United package. It has 74 results, right? But to group all of them under one, you use a group by statement. And you have to use a group by here because you see that one you put in the count, so that will work. But as soon as you put this standalone column, standalone means that you're not using an aggregate function for this one, but the other one you are. So this has to go under a group by. So this is also one of the reasons you have to use a group by. Yes. Any question?
So Saad, basically group by, it's basically get the total of the column values mainly.
No, that's not a group by. When you mean total of a column, that for you have this count on the aggregate.
Right. Sorry.
Basically, this group by is aggregating, like, you know, उसी के अंदर एक ही के अंदर कर देता है, like merge कर देता है. अगर ये group by नहीं होता basically, तो ये data आपको 68 times दिख रहा होता. But because of the group by statement, group by की वजह से it merged all of them, all 68 lines into one line. It grouped all of them. So that's why you use a group by. वो group कर देता है सबको. एक group में कर देता है सारी rows को.
Right.
And it look like more presentable, right? Sometimes you have to generate reports and all that. For that, you can't print these 200 times. They are more interested to know the grouping of it rather than printing out 68 times, 54 times, 74 times, right? So that's why you have to use a group by.
Or like finding out a total price or sales.
Right.
If you have
for the min max.
Right. Let's see any examples from this product table, right? So if you want to know, like like these are the prices, right? And if you want to know how many time these products belong to these prices has been sold, so what you can do like select count on the product ID, right? And you put like a price, right? You want to know how many items sold how many time, right? And then you can do from products, and then you can do a group by, and you do price, right? And if you run it, right, so here are the prices, and it's saying these items sold this many times. If you see this price item sold 2 times, this price item sold 3 times, this sold 2 times, 4 times, right? You see 13.25, whatever item you have sold this many times. Now, if you want to double check, you say, okay, 13.5, no, I think this one, 14 sold 4 times, right? This one. So how you can double check? You can just type here like select all from products, where price is equals to, right? You just want to double check that is it printing the right result on the different. So you see, yes, 4 record and bring all 4 results. So hopefully it start making more sense when you practice, but I'm just trying to show you like how you can use this group by. So over here, you just picked up, right? This price item was sold. Like, you can have a requirement. Can you tell us like this price item, like what are the price items and how many times they're being sold, right? So with this, you can see what are the price list and how many times they have been sold, right? So you group all of them under one, like you group all these prices under one. Like if the price is different, then it's coming up with a single number, right? But if you see this one, right, this one sold 2 times, it grouped inside one statement. It didn't show you 12.5, 12.5 2 times. It just showed you 1 time, and it gave you the quantity, how many times that has been sold. This 10, how many times this has been sold. So this is why we use a group by statement. And to, if somebody is interested in learning, right, you can type on the Google, and especially if you really want to learn, go to the YouTube, right? There are thousands and thousands video. You just type why we use group by in Oracle, right? Always type Oracle, because group by is used in so many other languages. So you only interested right now learning SQL and Oracle. So type why we use group by in SQL, and type it on Google, type it on YouTube, and there'll be a lot detailed explanation, and you never know which one you understand better. So it's more like, if you're interested, it's a deep sea. How it depends how much you want to dive in. So it's up to you guys to make your concept strong. I think more easy for me to understand is more with the visualization. So YouTube is the best place to learn all of these things, because they're big expert explaining you every single thing on their videos with their live examples and all that. It's very easy to understand from YouTube rather than Google, but it depends what you like. Well, I think we should stop here on the group by for today, and then I think 1 or 2 topics we're gonna cover tomorrow, hopefully. But any question?
Okay, bhai, Allah Hafiz.
No, I'm good. Okay. Allah Hafiz.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys. Allah Hafiz.